When marksmen break into their home, Maria Delgado, a young woman, and her boyfriend are watching Con Air near the beginning of the movie. While Maria tries to flee after her boyfriend is killed, she is punched in the face and knocked out before being kidnapped. In Hollywood, Nicolas Cage approaches filmmaker David Gordon Green to read for a role in the fictionalized version of himself. The director doesn't want to hear anything, but Nick starts to passionately read the line in front of the camera, impressing the director in the process. Nick's career has struck a snag before he hasn't had a solid job in a while and is quickly running out of money. He is also converses with Nikki, a younger version of himself, who serves as a reminder that he may be past his prime. In addition to all of this, Nick's relationship with his ex-wife, Oliva, and their daughter, Andy, is strained since Nick always forces Andy to do what he wants without considering Andy's feelings. Richard Fick, Nick's agent, and he hangs out in the spa while talking about how badly Nick's need this part. While Richard is telling Nick about $1 million offer to attend a birthday party, they are being beaten with branches on their backs. Nick is not amused or interested. Richard tells him that he owns $600,000 after working at the Sunset Tower for more than a year, but Nick is certain he will land his job. The CIA operatives Martin and Vivian to locate a local criminal boss when Nick is flown to an island, but they are astonished to see him there instead. Despite Martin's objection, Vivian approaches Nick while posing as a fan and places a tracker in his jacket pocket. Nick is subsequently driven by a motorbike to a home of Javi Gutierrez, the fan who hired him. Javi shares with his wife, Gabrielle,
very excited to have you here.
how he hopes Nick will read a script that he has written that he wants Nick to be associated with. While Javi makes an effort to get along with Nick, he's really just wasting his time there until he gets paid and can disappear. Then Gabriella forces Nick to hike with Javi to see the cliffs. While out there, Javi begins to speak urgently, but in reality, he is creating a scene for a script. Nick declines, but Javi persuades him that this is why he became an actor and how talented he is, so Nick agrees to leap off the cliff into the water with him. When they return to the land, they actually begin to get along and Nick confides in Javi. They talk about their favorite films, including The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, a personal favorite of Nick's, while Javi suggests Paddington 2. As Javi shows Nick the movie, Nick is taken aback but ultimately won over by it. They both agree it's a masterpiece. Later, agents led by Vivian and Martin force Nick into a van since Maria is the daughter of the president of Catalonia who is opposed to a crime in the nation. Javi is being accused of abducting her, and the alleged kidnappers are hoping that this will cause him to withdraw from the race. Vivian explains to Nick. The agents want Nick to grow close to Javi so that he may implicate Javi in Maria's kidnapping. Vivian reminds Nick that Maria is close to Andy's age and makes him consider how it will feel if he were in the place, even if Nick doesn't want to be involved in this. Nick grudgingly consents to carry out the strategy. Nick is charged with trying to use a specific toxic to render Javi unconscious during a party that Javi is throwing. Unfortunately, Nick unintentionally rubbed the poison on his head and is now beginning to lose his ability to move. Nick is led by Vivian and Martin away from the approaching guard and into the room containing the antidote, but Nick appears to drop out before he can administer it himself. Nick's acting instincts come into play when Vivian thinks quickly and exclaims action as a result of what he is able to set up the cameras in the house as instructed. He also sticks himself with the antidote. She does, however, inform Nick that they require his continued presence should have his pleasure. Nick arrives at the party and informs everyone that he will be working on the screenplay. The following day, Javi gives Nick LSD and the two of them drive around town high. They see two individuals who they believe are observing them, which makes them scurry about fearfully. Nick discovers a hidden room when they return to Javi's compound, believing it to be the location of Maria. However, Javi reveals that it is actually his personal room, which is filled with memorabilia for previous Nicolas Cage films, including a chainsaw from Mandy, pearls from The Rock, portraits from National Treasure, and a lifelike statue of Nick from Face Off. Nick is impressed and later informs Vivian that he doesn't believe Javi is a kidnapper. Vivian advises Nick to stick by Javi and try to incorporate the kidnapper into the plot in case it will reveal Maria's whereabouts. Nick tries to work the kidnapping plotline into the story, and Javi interprets this as Nick feeling bad about his connection with Andy. As a result, he sends Olivia and Andy to the island in an effort to make up with them. Both of them are horrified by what is happening and are unwilling to listen to Nick because they believe this is just another clumsy plan in his attempt to relaunch his career. In order for the CIA to set up a secure exit for Javi and his family, Vivian tells Nick to approach Javi and escort him out on his own. Nick attempts to be honest with Olivia, but she believes he is having a nervous breakdown. Driving together into the woods for a final sit-down, Nick and Javi realizes they can't bring themselves to murder each other because they have become so close. Nick and Javi are forced to repel Lucas's men, chasing them by fighting them off. After they get back home, Olivia informs Nick that Andy has been taken. As Nick makes the call to Vivian, she informs him that the valiants instead to use Andy to convince the United States to withdraw its support for President Delgado. Gabriel then joins them. The fact that Martin was killed and that Lucas's men had already arrived at Vivian makes matters more difficult. After shooting the security guards, Vivian is fatally wounded. To get the girls back, Nick and the others come up with a strategy. In order to get closer to Lucas, Nick and Olivia go undercover using the golden gun that were with the face-off statue. Nick digs deep inside himself to use his acting skills to defeat the bad guys, and they are able to find Maria and Andy and take them away to safety. Everyone begins speeding through the street as Lucas follows them. Armed guards await them as they arrive at the American embassy by car. Nick is being held at gunpoint by Lucas, but Maria discovers a hidden knife and hands it to Andy, and then hands it to Nick, who uses it to stab Lucas in the chest. A year later, Nick plays the major role in Javi's movie, which also stars Demi Moore and Olivia.
Congratulations.
The movie is a great hit and helps Nick regain notoriety. After the movie, he runs into Javi and the two of them hug and express pride in the movie. Later, Nick returns home with Olivia and Andy, where they watch Paddington 2 together, their relationship having improved. You have made it this far. In appreciation, please like, subscribe, watch other recaps, and share with your loved ones.